All right. I think we're live. Yes. Let me just pull up my notes here so we're good to go. Hi, everyone. So
Hi.
excited to be here. I'm just going to start us off, guys. I am Grace, and I'm your systems guide. What I love doing is taking big, lofty, exciting goals and turning them into tiny little baby steps that are very easily accessible. I believe that we all should have the ability to truly pursue our wildest dreams, our passions, our fantasies. It's totally possible. So I am bringing the 7-day challenge to you. We are on day 3, and I've been bringing experts to you for 3 days. This is our third day, our third expert. And basically, these people have taken their art, their magic, and taken them down into tiny little baby steps to give you the opportunity to explore this for yourself. So we're going to dive into our third expert, Ray Irelan, today. Ray, thank you so much for being here with us.
Absolutely.
So
Thanks for
excited.
having me.
My pleasure. I'm so honored. Guys, let me introduce you to Ray. Ray is an internationally acclaimed artist, speaker, mentor, and entrepreneur with the mission to bridge conscious culture and business to catalyze positive transformation. She is, and this is how I know her, how I met her in the beginning, she's the founder and CEO of the Global Goddess Fest, where she gathers together hundreds of women around the world to connect virtually, to inspire, to create. It's absolutely an incredible festival. Are you going to have another one this year?
We'll see.
We'll,
In the
Ray,
work.
yeah, Ray coaches high-level entrepreneurs, leaders, and creatives to pioneer new ways of business and relating. With her clients, she focuses on the stages of human transformation while developing conscious business and global impact. She is an incredibly talented artist and musician. She has performed and spoken in front of massive audiences all over the world. She has recorded multiple albums, toured internationally, been nominated and taken home multiple music awards, produced multiple theater shows and festivals, and has been published in books and magazines, articles, doctoral papers, and now Juicy is writing her first book to come out summer of 2020, which happens to be this year, which is
Yeah.
so exciting. Is it like an autobiography, or can we not know yet? Is it a surprise?
It's a surprise. It's a surprise. I can say that it has pieces of my story, which I'll share with you guys today, because the stories are so juicy, I can't leave them out. And then it also takes the readers through the process that I take most of my clients on. So I wanted to just get my work out to more people, share it in a really fun and entertaining way. And yeah, that's all you can know for now.
That's okay. I like surprises. Guys, I just want to back up one quick moment to kind of my intention for what we're creating here. This is for you if you have a message, a voice, more than just a dream, but you have a message and a voice, but maybe you're feeling a little bit of that overwhelm and that stuckness, maybe a little anxiety in tackling those big things. So that's why we're bringing in Ray today to talk to us about 3 steps in mindset to attracting and building your tribe following. So, Ray, I would love to hear a little bit more of your story and the magic that you've created for yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction, and thank you for having me. Thank you to all the viewers that are joining. You know, what Grace is putting together is really powerful. Check out all the guests that has bringing in. Each of them have like their own unique angle and can really provide a lot of value if you so choose to show up and utilize and take these pieces and really like put them into your own life. And so I just want to say that first and foremost, because I'm going to share some things that really have helped me get to where I'm at from where I was. And they're simple. They're really simple when it comes down to it. I think we tend to make things pretty complex, but the thing is just taking the action steps. So we'll
Right.
go into that more in a bit, but I want to share a little bit more about my backstory. So I grew up as a dancer and as an artist, always was like, I'm an artist, whatever medium and platform, whatever stage, that's where I felt most comfortable. I ended up going to school for dance and studying that in Boston, performing professionally in Boston, New York. And while I was out there, I ended up getting extremely injured because I was dancing and not really taking care of my mind and body in the way I should have while dancing like 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for many years. Um, so when that happened, all of a sudden I had to pivot and do something totally different because everything that I had built my life around was being a dancer. That's how I made my money. That's my community. That was my joy, like literally every piece of it. So from that place, I had kind of my first like dip into really experiencing a deeper depression.
Mm.
But I found music there. And so music turned into this new bliss that I could follow, that I could explore. And from that, I kind of said, I'm like, I'm an artist. I don't know how many others on here can relate, but I'm like, I'm an artist. Like, this is who I am. I'm not a business person. I'm not X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And I put myself in this box and I said, you know what? It's more important to me to be doing my art than to be making money or doing, being
Mm.
on these big stages. So I would rather be living on the street playing music every day and just making pennies for a living. So that's literally what I did for a while. And I speak into this because I want everyone to know that no matter where you're at right now, you have the opportunity, you have the potential to do whatever your dream is. For me, like at that point, if someone would have said like, oh, you're going to be doing like 5 and 6 figure launches, helping people and like helping them with their businesses, I would have said you're crazy. Like, I have no interest in that. There's no way that I could ever do that, sort of thing. But from being in that position, we ended up creating a band that in the span of 5 years ended up becoming a nationally touring band with management and booking agency and all of this stuff. We started playing on stages like Pepsi Amphitheater and festivals all around the country. And so things really did start to shift. While I was doing that, I was kind of in my personal discovery. And a lot of you might also be in this place where you're really curious about yourself. Like, you're wanting to learn more about yourself. You're wanting to maybe heal some stuff that's come up, especially in the state of the world. Like, all of our shit is coming up. Like, we cannot run away from it. We don't have an office to go to say like, I'm going to go to the office, I'll deal with that later. Like,
Right.
we're living in all of this uncomfortability. And so, even if you haven't been on a healing journey yet, like, welcome to it. we're all there now. It's global. And we're dealing with global trauma, which means that we need to learn how to create global healing, which starts with you and you taking that responsibility of going through your own healing work yourself. And so I say this because it's so hand in hand. While I was doing that, I was learning and discovering that, wow, I actually have a passion to help other people and actually want to do more than just be on stage. I want to be just kind of sharing some of the stuff that I'm learning about spirituality and transformation and mindset. And so from there, I got into a big accident that basically was my very like bottom of the pit, where I ended up rolling my car off of a cliff, DUI, the whole thing. I was really upset before I got in the car, suicidal, I just wanted to leave. And so this car accident was really the thing that brought me back to being on track, because I decided for the first time in the middle of the car rolling down the hill, I decided, hey, I actually want to be here. I actually feel like I have more to share, more to do. Like, I'm not ready to just leave with this hot mess behind me. And when I look in the mirror, I don't like who I'm looking at, and I don't want to leave feeling that. And so that was the beginning of my journey. And your journey does not have to start with rolling off of a cliff. Please let my story aspire yours to take action sooner, because that's the opportunity that we have here. And the coolest thing is, we're talking about building your tribe right now. And I'm sure a lot of you are interested in creating a business or putting something creative out into the world. And when you're doing this from a soul aligned place, the healing comes alongside of the business. You cannot remove or separate the two. They really go hand in hand, which is why I'm sharing my story like this.
Yeah.
So as I was healing, I hired my first mentor. She really helped me find my true alignment and what I wanted to share with the world, where I was being incongruent with who I was saying I was, right? But the actions were not there. Um, and and then things started to shift. And so pretty much for the last few years, I've now created this coaching business where I get to help entrepreneurs, visionary leaders, creatives, healers start their own businesses, or if they have a business, scale their business,
Mhm.
get it out there into the world, make bigger impact, while also going into deep transformation work yourself. Again, they're simultaneous.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much the background of my story. And then in between, like Grace mentioned, there was the Goddess Fest, which was so fun to gather leaders together. And
Powerful, so powerful. Women from all over the world just gathered in the same place virtually connecting. I remember examining so many parts of myself just through that you cultivated that group of people.
yeah, and that was the intention. It was really like I I want to be inspired.
Mm,
And I'm going to really like make this a key point because it was selfish. I came from a very selfish place, but I was so desperate for inspiration in my life from female leaders that I knew that like I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it at all. So I knew that I needed to create it. And
mhm,
that is one of the main points that I'm going to say is that like if any of you are out there and you're feeling like, man, where's my tribe? Maybe they're not gathered yet. Maybe it's actually up to you because you're the one with the vision, you're the one with that desire. It's up to you to stand into your leadership and actually hold up the flag and be like, okay, I'm here. Like,
mhm,
can I gather the tribe that
mhm.
I'm wanting? It goes back to one of my favorite quotes ever, which is be the change that you wish to see in the world, or create the change that you wish to see in the world. I add in and interpret it as also be the change, so
And you can
can
come from kind of a selfish point.
exactly. And that's okay, right? Like that's
Right.
totally okay.
Yeah.
Because that's still a deep why.
Yeah.
um
I
so
would
I think, yeah.
I would love, not to interrupt you, but I'd love to kind of, because we were talking about your personal story, which was so powerful and potent for all of us, to just recognize that we have this inside of ourselves and we don't have to put ourselves in a box and say we're one thing or another. We're an artist, so we can't make money. No, you can have both and you can create impact and change in the world. And it starts with you. It starts with you understanding and feeling inspired and that little bit of selfishness to create that change. But I'd like to back up just a little bit more to your story and talk about, because we've hear about all these incredible things that you've created and what you've done in your world. And I would love to know for you, what has been the greatest mindset for you? What has moved the dial the most for you in creating that transformation for yourself?
Yeah, I
Has
think
there
it
been like a
really,
mantra along the way or something like that you've reiterated to yourself?
a lot of it actually wasn't a mantra because I felt for me personally, I would get stuck in my head. My head would be the place where um, that would be shutting me down, right? It would be my mind saying, you can't do this. It would be my mind saying, you're not enough. You don't know enough people. You don't have the money. Like where, all of these things. So actually what I did was get out of my mind,
Mm,
because even using mantras at that point were just like putting a band-aid over a wound. And a lot of the work that I do with my clients, I actually have them remove all mantras and affirmations when we start working together, because
ooh.
they're covering what the healing is.
Mm-hmm.
They're covering it up. And how are we supposed to see what to heal, what to focus on, what to bring awareness to if you
Mm-hmm.
can't see it? And
Mm-hmm.
so I actually let go of mantras. Yes, they are super important to add in, but you need to do the healing first, which is the piece that most people don't recognize, especially if you're just kind of following other people and you don't know their backstory, you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. And that was a big one that I discovered from a lot of mentors of mine. But I would say the greatest mindset technique was really movement, was to get out of my mind into my body, whether that was yoga or dance or breath work, or just even like walking around, exercise. Getting into my body helped me tap into movement. Movement is naturally something that carries us in a different direction, right? We can't be stuck if we're moving. So a lot of times anxiety or depression that people are experiencing on whatever level, right? It could be even like minor, you might not even call it anxiety or depression, but it's that feeling of being stuck, or being unfulfilled or not happy with where you're at, like knowing that you could be doing more than what you're currently doing. That feeling will stay there if you stay there. If you move, that feeling will move as well. And so it's very simple, and just getting into your body, for me.
Even when you don't want to, guys, because I know how that can be, like that sense of overwhelm, that sense of anxiety makes you want to kind of like hold in a little bit more, but creating that movement creates that flow.
Yeah, and it wasn't always beautiful movement too. Let me definitely clarify that. It wasn't like, let me just go and dance my feelings, like, or let me just do yoga, like so peaceful. No, like sometimes it was like thrashing around in whatever room I was in, or throwing pillows and screaming, like, or like punching something, like, like not a person, but like a thing, like any sort of physical movement to exert whatever is being held in the body. That was 100% something that I revisited over and over and over again, especially in the times where I had the most breakdowns and I didn't know what else to do.
I love that for you, it's not this mindset like that you wake up and you jump into this mindset. It's more about getting out of your mind into your body, getting more into like this present space to be able to flow and create and move. What do you have, like a certain practice that you'd like to share with the audience? Maybe like a morning or an evening, like little ritual or something that you do to kind of remind yourself to tap back into that?
Yeah, totally. I would say, in the morning, like breath is one of the easiest things for me. I'm a dancer, so I do naturally incorporate like dance and stretch into my day almost in a subconscious way. I'm that person that's like stretching, and everyone's like, why are you stretching? I'm like, huh? What do you mean? So, do whatever your body feels is needed, but really breath is one of the easiest ways to just get into our body. But when it comes to morning and evening, one ritual that I did want to share with the audience, and everyone that's listening, that has been really impactful is actually going back into the mind. So the body thing is just like a natural thing. I would say, I don't even just do it in the morning or night. Like I try and do it at all times, like how am I sitting and all of that. But in the morning, one of the things that helped me the most, especially with what I'm going to kind of share a little bit more on, is doing actionable intention setting with energetic alignment. And so what I mean by that is getting really clear on what is your goal for the day and what is your intention for the day. And so not only what do you want to get done, but how do you want to feel by the end of the day? So aligning those two into one top priority of what is the thing you want to get done, and how do you want to feel by the end of the day. If you can get really clear on that, a lot of times we have like 10 things. That's why we feel chaotic and stressed out and like so much is going on. I fall into that all the time as well. But if you can get that one thing, then as soon as you finish that one thing, you can have that feeling of success and be able to kind of program your body and your mind into like, cool, that's like, we're good. And then at night, to kind of complete this practice, is to do the reflection. And like the simple reflection can just be like, how did that go? You know, how do I feel right now? Am I in that space that I was hoping I'd be in the morning? Did I complete what I wanted to complete? If not, like, what can I do tomorrow differently to
Mhm.
complete that?
Mhm.
Or what do I not need to do tomorrow? Maybe, and this, I shared this on a call yesterday. My thing that I always ask is like, what should I not be doing today? And the answer that I always have is scrolling. Like, literally. It's been like this for like the last few months. And that's fine. Like, I'll admit it. Um, but
we
whatever you're
all we
doing,
all have been there or are there currently. So
yeah, we all have that thing that we know we do, but we shouldn't be doing. So
Mhm.
whatever that is, to just bring awareness to it, it definitely has gotten better since I've been doing this practice. I still will not say that like I don't find myself doing that. But that's it is just the
Mhm.
awareness, and then taking little steps along the way.
Powerful. Thank you. So I'd love to jump back into what we're talking about, our topic today, which is the mindset for attracting and building your tribe following. And I think we might have covered the first point of that already, which is be the change that you want to see in the world.
Yeah,
Was that your first point?
it wasn't, but yes.
Okay, well, that's what I took away. That was
I love
incredible.
it.
That was
I,
incredible. Tell us
yeah.
more. How have you been able
So that
how have you been able to gather and create community and followings and tribe like you have?
Yeah, one of the big things, and I think being being actually comes throughout the whole process. And I would say, if anything, it's hard to do the being at the very beginning because it's like there's still this disconnection.
Mhm,
Like, it's sometimes hard to just say like, oh, I'm just going to be that person that I want to be. Um, in reality, we probably can, but also in reality, like, who's doing that? Not many people. Like, there's so much gunk that kind of gets in the way. So to break it down into something that, most of us can deal with. I know I'm in this boat too. Like, I can't just be that person most of the time unless I have this amazing experience that kind of brings me into that moment. On a
mhm,
daily basis, it's kind of difficult. So what I like to do first and foremost is connect with the vision.
mhm,
And a lot of times when you're thinking about, oh, well, what's my vision? Did you hear the first word that I just said? What's my vision? And that's what we get caught in,
mhm,
is the what. And the clarity that we actually need is in the why. We need to replace those two words.
mhm,
So why is my vision here? Why is my vision important? That is so much more significant and will help create so much more change, and and help kind of create the grounding so you can do these next steps with ease, more so than what. And the what will show up once you have the why. If you just go for the why might not show up. And that
mhm,
will be a lot more challenging to continue when obstacles come up, because anytime you're trying to do something new, obstacles will come up.
mhm,
And so if you don't have a good why, you're going to be taken out with the wave. If your
mhm,
why is strong enough, you'll remember, oh, I can go underneath the wave. Um,
mhm,
so really change that question, and from the what, or even the who sometimes is the first thing that's addressed in traditional marketing. That's what you're supposed to be asking yourself, is
mhm,
who's your audience.
mhm,
But that's not really helpful unless you're clear on the vision and your why first. So that's really like the first step, I would say.
mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just wondering because I know a lot of people I've been talking to lately may even have their businesses built and have been working in their business, but are still questioning what their why is. Do you have any tips on how to clarify that why so that it's really resound, really strong and stable inside of us?
Yeah.
Doesn't keep wavering like, oh, I could be doing this or could be doing that.
Mhm.
How do you have any recommendations for us?
Absolutely. And I was just on a call with someone yesterday where we dove into this. So I'll kind of use this as an example. Um, a similar thing, like if you already have your business going, like there's a connection to why, but maybe you have forgotten or you are missing deeper why that's really there that can pull you forward through these uncertain and chaotic times. And a really amazing way to connect with that, sometimes you've already connected with the vision of, or the dream of what you can be doing, how you can be helping people, and why that's important. So it's a little bit more challenging to not do this on a personal note. But for anyone, you know, you have, there's a why. The why is usually connected to like why you want it in the world, why you want to be serving others. Maybe there's some pieces that are really connected to your personal journey. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that all can be charging it as in like energizing. But another way, if you've been doing that route and you feel like the why still isn't deep enough, another way that you can kind of, another doorway that you can enter the same room is to ask yourself, what would happen if I don't step up and do
Mm-hmm.
this dream or do this vision? What will happen to myself? What will happen to my loved ones? What will happen to all the other people that don't receive this? And that can bring you into a very intense experience.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest, you know, going through this process with a trusted person who you can really rely on, who knows what they're doing, because this can be a very intense process. If you're going there by yourself, it can be really easy to kind of go into the spiral of like, oh my God, no one's stepping up, everything's gonna fall apart, especially in today's world. So I do want to put kind of like red tape around this suggestion. But if you have a mentor, if you have a coach, if you need someone to talk to, please reach out to me, reach out to Grace, you know, whoever you're connecting with and inspired by, to hold space for you to go there. When
Mm-hmm.
you go there, you can connect to some of the deepest parts of yourself, and that will 100% reveal your why. If
Mm-hmm.
there's any doubt in your mind, and the practice is, when you go down into that darkness of what if this didn't happen, you want to be able to have the support to come back into the light.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, let's put our ego aside and say, you know, everyone can say, oh, I can do that by myself, and that's fine. Let me just tell you, after years of experience and working with hundreds of people all around the world, do it with someone else. You
Mm-hmm.
can do it by yourself, but like, we have each other here. Let's use
Yeah.
each other, let's support each other in this. And it's exponential, the growth that can come from that place.
Yeah, totally. Like getting the reflections back from someone who's done the work themselves, who can see you, who can respond to you. That's super, super powerful work. So if you guys haven't ever experienced that for yourself, I highly recommend, just like Ray said, to find someone that you trust, that you are inspired by, and ask them to create that space where you can share them with them who you are and have them reflect back. And you can see your vision and your why even so much clearly. It's
Yeah.
really powerful. Tell
Yeah.
us more. Tell us
Yeah.
more about, do you have another little pathway tidbit for us in
Yeah.
attracting?
Totally. So there's two other steps that I have kind of, and these really are sequential because you need to have the why behind your vision in place. The next step is to take that inspired action. I can't tell you how many people I have talked to, how many people I've seen who have these amazing ideas and are not doing anything about them. And so it really is, and can be, one of the scariest pieces is taking that inspired action, taking that next step forward. And so kind of circling back to the morning routine of asking yourself, what is the one, you know, goal that I want to accomplish every day? Um, as this is a kind of a point that you can take back to your own life, and I challenge everyone that's here to really utilize this. So every day, what is the one thing that you want to get done today? And these are really the action steps. So the energy side and the energy work to the side, do that as well. But what is the one thing that you want to do today and want to get done? And then what is the one thing that you do not want to do today?
Mm,
And just being really clear on that every single day. We all know where we're slipping up. We all know that thing that we should be doing, it can be simple when we break it down into these steps. And so I do that every day, and also every week. At the beginning of every week, what is the one thing I want to do and accomplish by this week? What is
Mhm.
the one thing I don't want to do this week?
Mhm.
And then same thing for the month, and same thing for the year.
Mhm.
And this has been such a powerful process. And I definitely suggest anyone that's watching to take this home with you, to try it on for the week and see if it kind of lights you up, gives you a little bit more focus and clarity, so that way you can be taking inspired action.
Mhm.
And the inspired part comes from being filled up energetically. So, taking the steps you need to fill up your spirit, your soul, with that why, with just whatever lights you up, if that's like putting
Mhm.
on music while doing some work, or
Mhm.
taking a dance break, or connecting with people,
Mhm.
um, whatever lights you up, making sure that that's a part of the plan.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge part of magneting people to you is
Exactly.
being that light that people are drawn to, feeling you being so aligned, so in your place that they want to know what your secret is. I know that's how I feel about you, Ray. It's just, yeah. I mean, when I saw you at the Goddess Fest, came to your festival virtually, that's what drew me in so much. It was so powerful. It's something that I couldn't even necessarily put my finger on. It was just like, wow, that's magical. I want something she has, and that's part of the magic of what you create.
Mhm.
Tell us more. I want to hear, is there a third part?
Yeah, definitely. The third part is trust. And this is, I would say, my personal hardest thing that I deal with. I'm a total, how do I say this? Like, I need to be, love yourself, right? So I deal with sometimes experiencing a lot of worry. And
Yeah.
this is something that I've definitely, it's an ancestral thing. I see it in the whole female line in
Mhm.
all sides of my family.
Mhm.
Um, and so trust has been a huge piece for me to consistently put into the forefront, because it can so easily slip out into um, the ethers, and I can't find it. And so maybe some of you experience this as well, where you actually have all these pieces. You have the vision, you have the why. Maybe you can go deeper with the why. We always can.
Mhm.
You feel like you can do these action steps, like, yes, yes, but is the trust there? Can
Mhm.
you totally, completely trust in this vision that you have to bring people together, or
Mhm.
to serve people?
Mhm.
Can you know deep down in your soul that you were given this vision of whatever you're looking to create for a reason? It wasn't given to your neighbor, it was given to you to live through and to experience. And can you trust that it's already happening?
Mhm.
It's going to happen. It does have its divine timing. You can definitely use your energy to drive it forward, but can you trust every single day?
Mhm.
And I think trust is an action step and an energy step,
Mhm.
because it's not something that you do just once. It's something that you need to be doing every single day, if not like moments throughout the whole day, and addressing any fears that are coming up along the way.
Mhm.
Fears are going to come up while you're doing something new. If you're really like looking to magnify and attract a tribe, and you don't have a tribe currently, like, that's a new uncomfortable space. If you're
Mhm.
not addressing the fears that are there, you're not going to be, it's like you're saying half of the puzzle is fake.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
then, if your mind is saying half the puzzle is fake, it's actually subconsciously saying even this part that you are like loving and feel like you're in trust, it's actually subconsciously saying that's fake too.
Mhm.
So to be in full alignment and congruency with your thoughts and actions, you need to really allow everything to be, and to
Mhm.
say, okay, like, I'm going to do this new thing. I'm going to put it out into the world. I'm going to put myself out into the world, or into the online world, and I'm going to trust everything, and I'm going to be aware and like totally love the fears that are coming up along the way. And
Mm-hmm.
while creating the Goddess Fest, I can't tell you how many times I experienced like, what the heck am I doing? Moments. Because
I never once imagined that you ever questioned that.
right. And that's why these conversations are so cool, because it's like you get to see behind the curtain. But like, so we did the Goddess Fest 3 times live and built it into like around 300 people, 300 plus being there. That was huge. Like before that, I had thrown my 18th birthday party that was a big hit, or whatever. Like, it's like a new thing. After doing it 3 times, it turned into the online festival. The
Oh,
first
got
time
it.
we
It
had
was
like,
it was in person first.
it was in person for, yeah, 3 times. So for a few years
Wow.
beforehand.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, so when we turned it virtual, um, it was like, this was years ago. So this was in 2018 was the first virtual one, like literally the January 2018. So I'm like, I'm doing a virtual festival. People are like, what is that? Like literally no idea. Like they were just totally confused. I would have to explain every single piece of it. So
Mm-hmm.
different than today's age of like, especially right now, like there's so many virtual festivals, which is amazing. And so it was just weird, right? It
Mm-hmm.
didn't make sense. The people that I was inviting to be on didn't understand it. I had to like have long conversations to explain what the goal was. And so the whole time it was like, why am I doing this? What? And I needed to rely on the trust. And the kind of second part with the trust is to have trusting people along with you.
Mm-hmm.
So having mentors in your life that can help support you, people that have been in those shoes before. I know I've said this a few times, but it's really been one of the most impactful pieces for me. Is to have guidance and support, and to have these people that I really look up to saying like, oh yeah, you're on point, like keep going. Or like, Ray, have you thought about this other angle? Maybe you should like switch it, just like, what if we like think about something new? So it was mentorship, and then also having colleagues, or people right next to you, people that are in the experience with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so in all of the Goddess Fest, both live and virtually, I always had someone that was kind of like my right hand person.
Mm-hmm.
And this was someone that maybe hadn't done it before, maybe was even less experienced than I was, and I was kind of leading the reins. But they had their own genius that they brought to the table, and being able to be in that space together, and to already have an established trust there. So that
Mm-hmm.
way, when we feel like the thing that we're working on together is falling apart, because it did many times, for instance, like the in-person festival having to change locations a day before,
Mm. Oh,
literally,
the day before.
a whole festival having to change total locations. Um, to like last year for the Global Goddess Fest, like I was in Mexico when it was going on, and I lost service for an entire day. And so we lost a full day, so I had to postpone everything a day back and switch all of the behind the scenes stuff. So there's things that are going to come up, no
Mhm.
matter how much you plan. Like these were two totally unexpected things that I just couldn't even control, let alone all the mistakes that I made that I could control.
Mhm.
um, you have to have that deeper sense of trust that things are working out and that you're going to keep moving. And then that is what circles right back to
Mhm.
the power of the why.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd love to. That also was super powerful. Thanks for sharing that, because I know sometimes we can get kind of derailed from our vision, knocked down, think we're failing, think something's not working, when in reality, it's just our opportunity to grow our trust, to grow our relationship with ourselves, and to trust the vision and trust the people that we've created in our world to support us. I'd love to learn if you have any techniques or ideas or ways for us to learn how we can trust ourselves more. Have you noticed anything for yourself that could be helpful for our audience?
Yeah, fail. Like, just go for it.
Yeah.
Do whatever you're thinking is like that really cool new idea or dream or
Mhm,
business or, you
mhm,
know, working with a mentor or putting a team together, whatever that thing is that's like on the back of your mind saying like, hey, like might be time to do this, knock knock. Like
mhm,
just go for it, because the way that you're going to learn and build up trust is through failing and
mhm,
experiencing yourself in those tough moments and seeing yourself. Like a good analogy is to kind of circle it back to my car accident. Like I
mhm.
literally threw myself off a cliff and was at the bottom of the cliff, and I freaking crawled up the cliff. I got
Wow,
myself out of the situation.
that's so metaphorical.
And yeah, it really is. And so, like, I would have never thought that if I was in a moving vehicle going down the freeway and I flew off of it and rolled down a cliff, that I would be able to make it out of there and also not have one scratch or bruise. But because I was in that experience,
Mhm,
I found out, wow, I can do that. Same
mhm,
thing goes for business, hiring my like most expensive coach that I ever did. I was like, wait, what? Like this is
mhm,
crazy. Okay, here's my money. All right, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do this. I don't
mhm.
know how. Like I don't have this like huge
Yeah,
savings and this or that. I'm going to figure out how.
yeah,
And you get through it and you figure out how to get through it. And
yeah.
through multiple experiences like that, and they can be your own experiences and
Mhm,
whatever you're
mhm,
having, whatever challenges, obstacles, and breakdowns, it's that consistency of getting over it
mhm,
and figuring your way through the
mhm,
breakdown. And really, I think
mhm,
a lot of people have heard this, but it's the breakthrough that comes from the breakdown, right?
mhm,
Go through the breakdown and there's the breakthrough that
mhm,
will reveal your truest self, your
mhm,
strongest self.
mhm.
So that is how I've created trust, is really by failing a lot.
Mhm.
I'll be the
Yeah.
first to say that.
Yeah, I think part of the magic in this is, guys, for all of us, you don't have to know the big picture. You don't have to know all of the answers, how it's all going to work out. You just have to know the vision, the end goal. Like, what do you want? What are you feeling in your heart? What is your why? Unraveling that. And then one step at a time, moving towards that and trusting. That's what I'm really, really getting from you, Ray. And that's super
Absolutely.
powerful. Yeah. So I have another question. How do you address the fears that come up for you? How have you? Do you have any different ideas that you can share with us on that?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because you said earlier, like kind of in a way welcome them in, don't push them away,
Yeah.
and that's something we've heard from the other speakers also. So, there's this idea of like welcoming the fears in, but then how do you move from that place, like even when that fear paralyzes you, when you need to figure out how to make things work, how to make ends reach, and you're meet, and you're feeling that fear. How do you move through that fear to be creative, to
Yeah.
move past that?
Yeah, I'm gonna share kind of the more um, open answer, and then I'll give you a direct action item because there's
Awesome.
two pieces that are coming up for me. The first one is to just go into it. I know a lot of times when we're feeling that fear, that like paralyzed state, and whether you're all the way to the paralyzed state or it's just like that feeling in your belly that you're walking around with, and you're like, oh, ugh, like
Hmm.
not something's off, to just allow yourself to go deeper into that state. That is truly the way to transition it. The more that you try and move out of it, the greater it's going to be. The more that it's like a little child. Imagine your fear being this little infant, and you're like, I want you to just like shut up and stop crying. So you keep leaving, right? And you're like, I don't want to deal with it. You keep going into the other room, and then the child's crying again.
Hmm.
So then you go in and check on it and it stops crying, and you're like, oh, there's my big fear sitting there. And then
Hmm.
you're like, okay, you stop crying. All right, I'm going to leave now. And you leave, and it starts crying again. What would happen if you actually just go in there, pick up the baby, pick up your fear, and just sit with it, right?
Hmm.
You might actually be able to get it to fall asleep.
Hmm.
So that is really the way that I would suggest anyone to go into their fears. And so an actions way that you can do it, it's kind of like metaphorically, one thing that I like to do almost every day is journal and spend like usually about 10 minutes, sometimes 5, sometimes 20, just free writing whatever's on my mind. It gives me kind of this space to say whatever I want, right? There's not a human on the other side that I have to like consider their thoughts and feelings. I can just, I can feel like the craziest ideas that I have, I just put it out there. Like the craziest, most like intense thoughts, I just write it down. And a lot of times it does start with like, today is Tuesday, like I'm having orange juice. I would like to be in the dance studio or working on a song right now, but right now I'm going to write. It can be
Right.
kind of like this funny monologue that you start it with, but usually and why I suggest to do a little bit longer than just like one page, usually by like the second page, you start kind of getting to some of the juice, some of these things that you haven't addressed maybe in a while, or you've kind of been like pushing to the side, and this could be actually right where your fears are laying. So if you can write for like 3 pages, usually at that point you can get to this place where you're speaking about your fears and addressing them,
Mm-hmm.
and then just let them be. Like, don't try and change them. Again, don't try and like fix and control the situation. Like, I love to just journal and let it be.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm doing this on a daily basis, the amount of energy that gets cleared from my body and mind is profound. I have
Mm-hmm.
so much more energy to spend on other things. My focus is able to be a lot more clear on my inspired action items. And some of the fears actually just want to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And in just journaling, that could be enough.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like I like to be like, oh, I need to like figure this out. I need to like find the solution. But like sometimes there just isn't a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And being okay with that and just allowing them to be addressed sometimes can just dissolve the actual fear itself.
Mm-hmm. I love
So
that. Thank
that
you.
would be a main thing I would share.
Thank you. Yeah, one of my colleagues, just because it kind of fits in here to share with all of you guys, she said when she feels that fear, that anxiety, that's what she walks towards. So that's kind of the moment where you're like, oh, wait, instead of doing what feels natural, you moved away from it, go towards it, face it. So powerful. Thank you, Ray. Um, I would love for you to, I think we've kind of covered the points. Is there anything else in that you wanted to share before we go on to our next little part?
Uh, no, I think that's pretty much it. And yeah,
Thank
let's
you. Thank you.
continue
I
through it.
would love for you to tell the audience, I'd like you to give them a challenge. Since this is a 7-day challenge, I would like you to share with us your challenge for them to get started today in attracting and building their tribe following.
Absolutely. And I loved when you asked me this before we jumped on here, because it kind of gave me some time to really think about something that I think would be super ideal, specifically for people that want to be stepping into more of a leadership role.
Mhm.
Um, and so a lot of times when I give these challenges, I have my certain ones that I share. And this is one that I actually have never shared before. So
So
I'm really,
fun, guys. We're so lucky.
I was like typing it out and like, yeah. So the challenge is, and I've shared this multiple times on the call, we've talked about this a lot, is how important it is to be inspired by others. So whether it's someone that you've been watching on the sideline, watching through social media, a lot of us are spending more time on social media right now with
Mhm.
the state of the world. So there might be some people that you've been keeping closer eye on and just loving what they're putting out there.
Mhm.
Maybe there's some people that are in your life that you already have a mentor or a coach, or it's someone in your family, or it's someone that you've heard of but you don't really follow, but kind of deep down that there's always been this like interest in them and curiosity around who they are and how they got to be where they are.
Mhm.
So the challenge is to start today and every day this week, reach out to at least one person who inspires you
Mm-hmm.
and to have a conversation with them and to ask them if they would be open to having a conversation with you. And this is to really give you the opportunity to see into their mind, to see and hear and listen into how do they think, how do they move through life, how do they make decisions. um, a lot of times we're having conversations with a certain group of people in our life, right? We, even if you're desiring to like build a tribe, there's usually the case that like you don't have that tribe with you right now, or you want to strengthen that tribe
Mm-hmm.
together. So a lot of times you're talking to the same people over and over again, your best friends, your partners, your housemates, you know, whoever that is, your family. And so you're actually just getting the same feedback loop every time. Even
Mm-hmm.
though we're all adjusting and we're all transforming and learning, it's still a very similar conversation. It's a similar energy that's being shared. So in this challenge, you know, reach out to someone to understand what's behind that their curtain. You know, what are they dealing with, what are they experiencing, what are they going after, what are their action steps that they're working on, and allow that conversation to inspire you and to change you. A lot of times my greatest ideas came when I was hanging out with or having conversations with my mentors, coaches, people that inspired me,
Mm-hmm.
um, people that are different than me.
Mm-hmm.
And so see how that can help you break past your current reality. And this really will impact your life and how you see everything, how you relate to things, and play with it. And
And
you
make
might
you
even want to do
magnetic.
more than one person.
Mm-hmm.
But this will also be you creating the energetic field around you and within you that it's safe for people to approach you
Mm-hmm.
because you are experiencing that safety with others as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you open that up, don't be surprised if you actually follow through with this challenge and reach out to some people that are inspiring you and see if you can have deeper conversations with them. Don't be surprised if someone actually comes to you asking the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, Two more things I'd like from you, Ray. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time, generosity here. How can the audience find you and learn more about you and support you and your music and all of that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Everyone can find me on social media, Ray Irelan, on both Facebook and Instagram. And I have some Facebook pages as well. My Ray Ireland artist page where you can find my music and my art. And
Mm-hmm.
then I also have the Soul Ray Ireland Soul Aligned Coach. And so that's where you can find more information on my business.
Awesome.
Um, Along with that, one thing that I do want to share with everyone, I have a lot of free resources that I've been building out this last year. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people are looking for this right now. Most of them are included in my Soul Aligned podcast. And
Okay.
so I have the link right here. So, Grace, I can
Yeah, send that to me. Guys, I'm
have it
gonna do some
and you can
show
add
notes
it in
after this so we
there. Okay,
all have it.
perfect.
Yeah,
So there's
thank you.
the Soul Aligned podcast. So you can find that on YouTube, Spotify, iMusic, all the platforms.
Amazing.
Um, and then you can also find my music there as
Mhm.
well on all the online platforms, and you can
So
check out.
you're on Spotify and everything. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, that's amazing. Guys, you have to follow her. Go listen to her stuff on Spotify.
Yes, please
Um,
check out the music.
Yay, yay, amazing. And if anyone has any questions or wants to explore their deeper why or anything, I'm sure Ray would be really happy to talk to you. If you go to her Ray Ireland Soul Coach, I'm sure you can get a hold of her there and social platforms as well.
Yeah, and I actually this week with everything that's been going on, what I've been doing as an additional resource for people, and this isn't totally open to the public, but for your tribe, anyone that's watching here, I am going to be opening up some free 30-minute sessions with me to support anyone that does feel like they have a vision, they have something new that's being stirred up, especially from what we're experiencing globally. I do
Yeah.
believe that this is an opportunity and a time for everyone to be really getting a lot more clear on what's aligned and what's not aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm definitely here, and I haven't opened up free calls like this in like about 2 years.
Wow.
So this is special, and I'm a lot of the slots have already booked out. So I actually haven't checked today
Guys, get on her calendar if you
it
can
is,
right
but
now.
go ahead and check that out. And anyone that needs just some support, and even if you don't have a vision or an idea, but you really feel like you would like some
Mm-hmm.
support in whatever you're experiencing currently, now is the time for us to come together. So I do
Yeah.
want to offer that,
Yeah,
especially for
amazing.
everyone that's here.
Guys, don't sit in your homes being afraid of the current times. I mean, we're all in our homes right now. We're not really going places, but don't sit in fear. Open up to what's happening. Tap into amazing mentors like Ray, who can kind of shift your perspective and give you more opportunity in your world. Thank you for that, Ray. And thanks for that offer. That's so generous of you. Now, I didn't ask you right before the call, so I don't know if this is a possibility, but do you have some music medicine for us today?
Yes. I would
Ooh,
love
okay, guys, we're in for some goodness right now.
Let me go grab my guitar.
Yes. Ooh, this is
I
good.
totally meant to ask you if you wanted to do anything like this too.
Yeah, no, this is incredible. We will wait here patiently for you. Yeah, music is medicine right now. Movement is medicine, guys. So I am so excited to see what Ray has for us here.
Okay. So it won't be like the best quality because I'm not plugged in, but we'll do a little special something.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So this song that I'm gonna play a new song that was written just a few months ago, but I think it's pretty relevant. Uh, what is the word I'm looking for?
Relevant.
Relevant. Tuning the guitar and trying to speak is not always my but it's really about choosing to be here. And I think this is something that we need to remember, especially in times of chaos and craziness, is that like, oh yeah, I decided to be here, to be born at this time and to be on the planet while all of this chaos is happening. Like, this was my choice. And to dive into your choice, and to experience all that is here. A lot of what we talked about today is the basis of this song. So I think it will be fun to share. So let me
What a treat.
get it going. It's called Give Earth a Try. And this is a song that has not been recorded or released yet. So it is pretty brand new.
Thank you. Yay.
I'm falling faster than it seems, diving below beliefs. I've taken the ashes of my dreams to my lungs for her to breathe. Remind me why I fight this war zone we call life. I'm under, and still I see how we pretend to be free. Babe, won't you rescue me? I'm looking for my sanity, but I won't cave to misery. I'll find a way to let love be. I'm open to the sky and what feels right. When I look up to the stars, I'm reminded of a time when I could fly, and I chose to give Earth a try. I chose to give Earth a try. me see the cracks in the window and the glass by my feet. I've fallen down to my knees to pray for peace. Oh, I'm praying for peace. Babe, won't you rescue me? I'm looking for my sanity, but I won't cave to misery. I'll find a way to let love be. I'm open to the sky and what feels right when I look up to the stars. I'm reminded of a time when I could fly. I chose to give Earth a try. Open to the sky and what feels right when I look up to the stars. I'm reminded of a time when I could fly. I chose to give Earth a try. I chose to give birth a try. Have you ever been so far? 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 Open to the sky and what feels right when I look up to the stars. I'm reminded of a time when I could fly. I chose to give Earth a try. Open to the sky and what feels right when I look up to the stars. I'm reminded of a time when I could fly. I chose to give Earth a try. I chose to give Earth a try.
So good. Thank you so much, Ray. What a gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, that felt so good. So good.
Oh,
I know
amazing.
it felt good for a lot of people too, because I'm watching all of them comment.
Oh.
Ah, thank
Thank
you.
you guys.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your time today. I am so honored to have had you with us and just wishing you an amazing rest of your day and week.
Thank you,
Bye,
babe.
love.
Thank you to all the viewers. Enjoy the rest of the week and this amazing challenge that Grace has put together. It's such a gift.
Bye, guys. See you later.